Hi, guys. Okay, we are going to be talking about prayer, consolation, and desolation to start with. So, I want to talk about these three girls that I have been best friends with ever since we were little. We all started going to IC in North Little Rock together when I was in fourth grade, and we've all been super close ever since. Amanda, she lives in Richmond, Virginia right now, and she and I will talk on the phone with each other once a week. That's just how a relationship is. We don't text each other. She is the worst person about responding to text messages, so even if you text her, she won't respond. But we do phone calls. Now, Kim and I will swap memes or TikToks or something like that back and forth, and that's kind of the extent of it. More separated. She lives in Jacksonville, Arkansas, and then Katie and Katie likes to work out and I like to work out, and we actually share our fitness stuff on our watches, and we both work out in the mornings. And one of the things that Apple, through their fitness app does is when you have a friend that finishes a workout and you're partnered with them on your watch, it gives you these pre-filled responses that you can send to the person after they finish a workout. It alerts you, Katie just finished a workout. How would you like to reply? And then it gives you some nice ones, but it gives you like really mean ones. Like, that workout was pathetic, or is that all you got? Anyway, Katie and I every day pick the rudest one we can find on our preload responses and send that to each other. And then we'll kind of we text back and forth throughout the day. I love all three of them. All three of us have a great relationship. We communicate differently, okay? I don't think Kim and I would function very well if we talked on the phone every week. Same thing with Katie, since we are both messaging each other. Amanda, I already said, I can't text her because she won't answer, okay? All of them are my best friends. We all have been so close for a very long time. We communicate differently, okay? Now, in Catholicism, a lot of times we feel like our prayer lives, our communication with God, need to look the same as other people in the church. My mom is a big rosary sayer. I am not, okay? I may say a rosary once a year, if even. It just doesn't do anything for me. My prayer life does not look like my mother's prayer life. Now, this is something big that a lot of us need to come to terms with, because every single one of you is an individual. We are all different. Some of us have a very difficult time sitting still and focusing. Others, we are totally content. We can sit there, we can say a rosary, we can deeply focus in one spot for a long period of time. Accept how you're different. Accept your individuality, because prayer is meant to be something between you and God. It is a relationship. And additionally, so I always compare things to my marriage. When I was first married to Brad, or even when we were dating, because we dated for 4 years, we got married. I skipped my college graduation and went and married him. We used to talk on the phone constantly because I was in Memphis and he was in Fayetteville, Arkansas. So we were 5 hours apart for 4 years. We talked on the phone constantly. Then when we got married and we were together all the time, we just kind of hung out. We didn't have a tremendous amount to say to each other because we were living pretty side-by-side lives. So except for talking about maybe what happened in our jobs that day, we just kind of were present with each other. We'd go on walks. Sometimes we just go for a walk and hold hands and we didn't say anything. Our relationship looked different at one time as it did another. Now that we have 3 kids and our kids are all involved in different sports and activities, we are passing each other constantly. The way that we make sure we stay connected is we meet up for lunch during the workday once a week. And, we sometimes our relationship it looks different. We find those times to go out to dinner or get a babysitter or something like that. But our relationship looks different. I like to refer to this as we're in different seasons of life. So for you and God, you might be in a season where you like the rote prayers. You like saying the Our Father, the Hail Mary, the Glory Be, or whatever. When I was a little kid, when I was first learning to pray, my mom would have me pray the Our Father, Hail Mary, and then the angel of God, my guardian dear, to whom's God's love and trust me here. Ever this day, be at my side, delight to guard, to rule, to guide. Amen. And then after that, I would list everybody I wanted to pray for. I'm sure that this drove my mom nuts, though, because whenever I do the petition part of my prayers at night, I probably could list off like 200 people, and she would just be sitting there waiting for me to finish. But anyway, our prayer lives change. I don't pray that way anymore. Okay? Sometimes if I need a comfort or something like that, I will rattle off those prayers. But in general, I don't pray that way anymore. A lot of my prayer time is spent contemplatively, or it is just spent sitting still. And one of my favorite ways to pray is breathing prayers. So what that looks like for me is I breathe in deeply. I allow my mind to know that God is present. And then I blow out. Okay? And I repeat that. And, that might be something that works for you. Other days, the way I pray is I take a walk outside. I look at nature. I experience God. I look at how all things are connected. And that is my prayer. Do I say anything? No, I don't say anything. Other times, I feel like I can't keep my head above water. And so my prayer is literally me just saying, God, help. Help. That's it. Sometimes your prayer, that's all you can do is just yell, help. Okay? It looks different from time to time. Now, in prayer, also, we will experience consolation and desolation. These are not emotions. What consolation is when you feel that connectivity with God. You feel uplifted, you feel joy, God is there, you feel so content, or you may feel desolation. Desolation is no feeling of connectivity with God at all. It could be that you're consumed with like negative feelings, or you feel isolated, or you feel cut off. But those are different things, consolation and desolation, that you will experience in your prayer life. Why? That is like the $1 million question, okay? Why do we experience desolation? Now, again, I'm going to use an analogy because that's the best way I can. Let's say that you had to pick a job. You were either going to take a job in Little Rock, Arkansas, which you like, or you're going to take a job in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and you also like that one, okay? The jobs are equal, and you have to pick which one you want. Okay, now let's say that in Little Rock, there was also this person that you were in love with, and you were just like, oh my gosh, I love them so much, I can't get enough of them, I just want to be around them 24/7. If you're getting those ooey gooey feelings, when you make a decision, you're going to go over here, okay? You're not going to even give this Fayetteville job a second thought, because all the good feelings are coming over here because there's someone there that you love, okay? So it makes choosing that job easier because you got somebody there. A lot of times when we're at a point in our lives where we have to make a decision, we have to exercise our free will, God will take a step backward and let us choose without influence, okay? When we talked in last year's videos about Adam and Eve in the garden, we talked about that tree. Why did God create this beautiful place and then put something in the middle of the garden that could kill them? And this is why. He created this space for Adam and Eve. And please remember, this is not a scientific story. This is a story meant to teach us about ourselves. It's meant to teach us about why we exist and all those things. It's meant to teach us why and what our relationship with God is, all those things. So when God creates this beautiful place for Adam and Eve, and he loves them, he wants a relationship with them, but it has to be authentic. So God puts that tree in the middle of the garden, basically saying, I love you, I want you, but it's only real, it's only true love if you pick me. And Adam and Eve, they didn't. They chose to separate from God. So when we're looking at decision points in our lives, a lot of times we'll be praying for God, like, I need an answer to this, I need help, what do I do? Sometimes you'll be like, oh, I know exactly what to do. Other times you'll be like, hello? Like, I feel nothing. Are you there? Funny enough, when I was presented with the opportunity to interview for the youth minister job, I had gone from a place where I was feeling all these uplifting feelings. I felt a really close relationship with God. And then when it came to interviewing for this youth minister position, silence. I didn't feel the connectivity with God in prayer. I didn't, all the usual stuff wasn't working. Going for a walk outside, breathing prayers. I was not feeling a connection with God at all. And what I came to understand was God was letting me pick. Brittany, do you want to give up the photography business that you have and become a youth minister? It is your choice. I am not going to influence the decision, basically. You pick. And I had those feelings of desolation, but I stayed the course, became a youth minister. And now the time that I feel the most consolation is when I'm with teenagers. I don't know, it's something, I love teenagers. It's like the best age group ever. I think it's because you guys are like hilariously like insecure, but also super confident, and you're just funny. I don't know, but I love working with teenagers. It's the best thing ever. But I felt that radio silence when it came time to make a huge decision. Now, another time in our lives where we might be experiencing desolation, that feeling that God is not with us, is when we are experiencing or participating in habitual sin. So let's say that that's where you're at. You are habitually sinning. That means that, you have a sin that you're doing over and over and over again. That could be cheating on a boyfriend and girlfriend, lying to your parents, drinking alcohol, or watching porn, something like that. You are in a sin and you are doing it over and over and over again. So let's look at this in another analogy. So say that your parents, they love you. You are everything to them, but they know that you are doing something repeatedly that you should not do. Are they just going to let it happen? Probably not. They're probably not going to be like, oh, my sweet baby, like, oh, kisses, you're so perfect, and just let you go on if they know that you are doing something damaging to yourself. The relationship with them is going to change. They will become firmer. They will most likely stop praising you incessantly. The dynamic changes. So when we are in a relationship with God, if we are also actively participating in a specific sin over and over and over again, it's going to influence that relationship with God. You are essentially going to be able to feel God taking a step backwards and allowing you to make the decision. Do I want to live in this sin, or do I want to live for God? Do I want to live to know God? We get to pick, okay? So that's consolation, that's desolation. What I want you to write about is two things. Write about your prayer life now. Does your prayer life exist? If it does exist, what does it look like? Is it fruitful? Which fruitful meaning, are you feeling good things are coming from it, or are you not? And then the second thing I want you to write about, what are your experiences with consolation, the happy, feel-good feelings, and desolation, where you feel like God is not present? What are your experiences with consolation and desolation? These are, this understanding how to navigate the relationship with God is super important, because unlike some people, I don't hear like this. I don't have a conversation with God where I hear God actively speaking back and forth. That doesn't normally happen. And a lot of us are, again, trying to compare our relationship with God to other people and maybe what they might say. And so we get very confused. We get very down on ourselves with our relationship with God. So we need to look at it. We need to talk about it. Okay. And after this, one more video. So I guess one more video, and we are going to talk about the baptismal promises, because when we get to confirmation, you are going to renew your baptismal promises with the bishop. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it's helpful. And I look forward to eventually getting to meet with you guys and go over your journals. Bye.